Good morning. It's a Monday. I'm Todd Duplantis, and welcome to Up to the Minute. Good to have you with us on the show. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Want to welcome everybody for this Monday morning, and it's the start of another work week. Going to be an exciting one. A lot of things coming up this week and next. We'll talk about that later in the show. My co-host this morning, Dr. Lana Pigao, is joining us now. She's the Communications Director from HCC's Northwest College. Good morning, Lana. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good to have you with us, making a return to the show. Got a lot of things going on at now at Northwest College, but I guess the most exciting thing, the semester's about to get under the way.
Yeah, it is going to be a busy semester. Enrollment's up, and we are ready to go to welcome our students and get the semester going.
Well, we always love to hear when enrollment is up, so it's always a good thing. So, Lana, we want to remind everybody, you're watching us now on Facebook Live and YouTube, but they can also catch us anytime in social media and on HCCTV.
Right. We're live right now on Houston Community College District Facebook page and YouTube, not HCC. We're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and HCCTV at noon, 5 and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Okay, you're going to interview guests very shortly, but first I want to introduce our second guest who's coming up in a few minutes, Dr. Q, Dr. Quinella Minix, an elite performance coach and psychotherapist, our Mental Health Monday guest. Good morning, Dr. Q. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me back, Todd. Great to see you guys.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We are looking forward to talking with you, so I'm going to be with you in about 10 minutes, all right? So stick around.
Right. Sounds great.
Okay, Lana, we're going to let you kick things off, and you got a very special guest. Dr. Donna Davis is joining you. Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, Dr. Davis is the HCC Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer and an organizer of the HCC chapter of AAWCC, which is the American Association of Women in Community Colleges. Well, welcome back, Dr. Davis.
Thank you, Lana. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. So aside from being heading the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office, you've played an important role in organizing HCC's new chapter of the American Association of Women in Community College. Can you first tell us the mission of the national organization?
Oh, absolutely. The mission is to empower women, both employees and students who are either matriculating or working at community colleges nationally. And that comes from a point of either career development, education, just promoting them throughout their career journeys as well.
Great. So what is AAWCC at HCC?
So that is a recognized chapter. We are so very excited. So, of course, we have the national organization, but then there are also chapters throughout the country. Previously, HCC had an organization called Women in Leadership. And so this is formally Women in Leadership, but it's allowed us to have a recognized AAWCC chapter. And so the small group within Women in Leadership worked together on bylaws, ensuring that everything would be available for the women at our college. And so now we are a recognized chapter of AAWCC.
Wonderful. So for full disclosure, I am the AAWCC Region 5 Director representing Texas. So I was so excited when a cohort of women from HCC attended the AAWCC Leaders Institute, which leads me to ask why AAWCC is important to the HCC community.
Incredibly important. This organization highlights and empowers women who are specifically at community colleges. And I think we all know that there are often individuals who have aspirations of obtaining more training or moving up in leadership, and maybe they don't necessarily know how to do that. And so this organization is instrumental in making sure that women, regardless of what level they may be at, from entry level all the way to executive leadership, and of course, our students who are aspiring to leadership, it gives that guidance. It also provides informal mentorship, the necessary training to position someone to move forward in their career journey. And so that's why I think it just made sense for us to be part of the organization.
Absolutely. So what are the short and long-term impacts for members who join?
I think the short-term impact is to caucus all of the women here at HCC who may not have been able. We've been in the pandemic for over 2 years. Individuals haven't necessarily been able to connect. So I think from a socialization standpoint, it allows us to have that connection in that caucus. But let me be very clear that it also allows our male and transgender community as well to also support and be allies and be members of this organization as well, should they choose to do so. So I think in the short term, it allows for that. I think long term, it goes back to supporting individuals who are interested in becoming more astute in their particular areas and in the community college system, in gaining leadership and just being better in their particular roles.
Right. So the current president of AAWCC is familiar to us, Dr. Monique Humphrey. Yes. She's the former president of our Northeast College. She's now in Austin Community College. But she and the organization were honoring its of the year winners at the annual conference that was held in New York this year. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yes. So from that, we did have a few of our members who attended that national conference, and it allowed individuals to be recognized for some of the great work that they've done around women empowerment and professional development as well. I think that also is really important when we think of the long-term effects of an organization like this. There are sometimes unsung leaders and individuals who are doing great work that may not necessarily always receive the recognition on a daily basis. And so I think that also from a larger scale allows individuals to be acknowledged for their great work regarding this particular organization.
Right. Yeah. What I think is nice about this award is that recipients are nominated and voted on by their peers and their colleagues in the organization. So to me, that's really important.
Absolutely.
So you've kind of alluded to this, and although AAWC is mainly to develop and promote women, can other genders join?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Individuals have emailed me since we started announcing our membership drive, and membership is free. And so I think there are individuals who are allies and support the empowerment of women at community colleges. And so we certainly will welcome anyone who is interested in becoming an ally.
Right. So there was a luncheon in March that you all had. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, that celebrated International Women's Day in March. And there was a great group of individuals. I must give a nod to Dr. Ed.D, who organized that particular event and luncheon. It brought together, again, with great energy, women throughout our college system who were interested not only in celebrating internationally women from all different cultures and backgrounds, but also celebrating one another in that space.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm really excited. Do you all have any upcoming events planned for the?
Yes, we do. We have a membership drive that's going on now. There have been several announcements that have gone out through communications. And so please, if you have not joined, we strongly encourage you to take a look at the link and the website and be able to do that. We are preparing for our kickoff rally. And I may also add that initially our kickoff rally was scheduled in August, but we sold out in record time the space that we had because there's such an overwhelming interest. So we've rescheduled that, and it will be held in September, on September 10th at 11:30 at the Southeast campus in the multi-purpose room. And so it's a larger space. We've reopened the membership registration. You must register to become a member and then register for the event as well. And again, membership is free. So we welcome anyone to come in and participate.
That is amazing that you've had such overwhelming feedback and you've all had to move the event so you have a larger space. That just says so much about the power of AAWCC and the need for this type of organization at HCC. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Dr. Donna Davis, HCC Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer and organizer of the HCC chapter of the American Association of Women in Community College. We will have your info in our post after the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you both. Great organization. It's good to hear, though, that we're having in-person events, very popular again here at HCC. So a lot of things coming up in the fall. Okay, moving on. It's Mental Health Monday. That's right. We've got a special guest joining us, returning to the show, Dr. Quinella Minix. Dr. Q, back on the show. Good to have you with us, Dr. Q.
Thank you, Todd. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here today.
So we're going to talk today about workplace stress. We can all have it. Happens to everybody at times. And then there's the COVID thing. You know, we're still dealing with that. Once again, people are testing positive. Seems like every day we're hearing about coworkers that are coming down with it. In general, let's talk about some of the strides that have been made to reduce the problems of mental health in the workplace. What have you seen?
Over the past, 2 years, I've seen a lot more training. The employee assistance programs are rolling out trainings to help support these employees. A lot of trainings that.
Has that helping? Is there seem to be, because I notice, you know, when we have trainings at HCC, especially if it's COVID related, people seem more interested. You know, maybe 2 years ago, they may have not been interested in certain trainings, but nowadays you're going to sit back and listen.
Yeah, everything shifted. You know, when employees, like, they having to change the types of trainings, and burnout is like one of the huge things, because when you were working from home, adjusting from one room to the next or turning it off, you're working 24/7. And so burnout happened a lot quicker during the pandemic.
And going back to the COVID thing, because it's still, you know, every time you think we're getting past something, the masks go away, things are opening up, people are allowed to go back to the office, then bam, you know, last month, we're being hit by COVID cases. We got a couple of them in our department where people are out, and it seems like they're out for a couple of weeks now. Are you seeing that a lot of workers are saying, hey, wait a second, you know, I may go back, but I'm going to go back limited right now because things aren't clear yet. What are you seeing from your perspective?
Yes, a lot of employees are afraid, you know, and during this pandemic, they lost loved ones during the pandemic.
Absolutely.
So that fear that creeps in and going back. And so we all have it now where somebody starts coughing and you're like, oh God, you know, you have COVID.
Yeah.
So there's a fear factor in going back to work. That's what I'm saying.
And we just don't know enough about COVID. You know,
Right.
My wife passed this summer, and I know towards the end of last year, she had COVID, which lasted for about 6 weeks, the Delta variant. And, you know, she always said it affected her organs. And, you know, it can't be termed whether or not she died of that. It could have been a contributing factor. But those things pop up, and it remains in your mind, especially if you've had a loved one who may have passed or you know of people. So that's got to have a stigma that it's going to take us years to get past this. And until we get enough research that tells us that, you know what, the vaccines are safe and we're safe again.
Yes, and Ty, I want to start off by saying sorry for your loss. It's a huge loss. I can relate to you. So yes, that's huge. And it is. It's a fear, and it's emotions that we have that we don't even realize we have. Grief is difficult. The grief of the loss, and just even the loss of, you don't know, the unknown.
Yeah, it is the unknown. Let's talk about some of the simple tips that maybe you can take to manage your mental health in the workplace. And what if you see one of your coworkers who may be struggling? I mean, I guess we all need to step up in these times and take notice of that as well.
Well, I would say start off by getting familiar with the resources that you have internally. I think that's huge first, so that when you do see a coworker or employee struggling, and you can refer them to the right, or you can reach out to the internal EAP, external EAP, and get those tips. Sometimes HR is, but some of the things is to pay attention and check in. Simple check-ins with people are important. You know, I know everybody's on the chat, but sometimes just picking the phone up and saying, hey, how are you doing? Yeah. And paying attention to them. When you notice something, just pick the phone up and say, how you doing? Send a nice note, thinking about you today. We need that human interaction, and we need that caring, that care. And if you notice a coworker may not be performing at their best, see if you can help in some way, form of fashion. Right. You know, those things.
Yeah, I mean, we really do all need to step up and take action, especially if you notice that with a coworker, because I know from personal experience, you may be, breaking down or not acting normal, and people will come up and say, hey, what's wrong, or what do you need to talk about? And that's, when you reach out to a coworker, that does mean a lot. And I can tell you from my own personal experiences.
And it does. And the other thing is just the simple thing of actually not, once you get to a certain point, you feel like you can't go, take a step back. Yeah. Take a step back, turn your phone off, say, hey, I need to take a break. Take that 20, 30 minutes a day and do some self-care too. That's huge in this.
Speaking of self-care, let's talk about something that may be a hard thing to discuss for a lot of people, but substance abuse in the workplace. We were coming out of a pandemic. We were locked down for quite some time. People are still working remotely. And let's face it, alcohol is easily delivered to people's houses nowadays. It's just commonplace. And I've heard of people, that have maybe had wine time starts a little earlier in the day nowadays. Are you seeing more of that now with people that may have gotten into the habit of maybe drinking a little more during the pandemic, and now they're trying to get out of that? And what are you seeing as that's prevalent right now that we're coming out of this pandemic?
So there is more drinking and more, in some states, more cannabis use. Yeah. But the difference is underreported now. Whereas before people were going to get treatment, now it's even more underreported because it's hidden because you're at home. That's the danger of it. They're at home a lot more. And so it's family will have, and close friends will probably have to be that support to help them.
How do you do it if you're a coworker and you notice your coworker is struggling, and it's a very touchy subject, like, hey, you popping a cold one right now, or what's going on the side? How do you address that with a coworker, especially if you're concerned for them?
So, I believe in constructive confrontation, right? You go in and you're being compassionate, you're being supportive, and making sure that you're confidential when you do it. And it's from a good place. I think that's where you start. And when people know you're authentic, they tend to open up and know that you won't disclose their problem, and then you can get them the help that they need.
You've also written a book, and I want to talk about that. That's a spinoff, and it's from your nonprofit organization, PsyFit. Tell us about the organization and the PsyFit Journal.
So PsyFit is an organization I developed with my husband after he got sick. I've been working with athletes for over 20 years privately, and specializing in concussions. I'm a traumatic brain injury and myself, and my husband died in 2017 from CTE. So the nonprofit raises money for counseling for athletes and brain health. And my journal is to help athletes with their mental fitness. So many athletes are struggling now that they need that help and that support.
Right. And are there signs with brain injuries that you may know with an athlete that you could maybe recognize if someone, what would you look for if you're trying to notice these things?
So you'll notice the forgetfulness will happen. You'll notice mood. Mood is a huge one. And sometimes you'll notice their gait is off. Their walking may not be as strong, and you'll notice the strength in the legs and those things. But the mood is definitely a different one. Difference in mood.
If someone is looking to get some information, where can they find you? I imagine you're in social media. We'll have those posts, but what's the best website to reach you?
I am Dr. Q, IAMDRQUE.com.
Okay. We're going to have that in our social media post. It's always good to talk to you. Unfortunately, we have something in common now, the two of us, but I can see you are getting through life. So it gives me hope as well.
Yes. If you ever need me, I'm here for you. Phone call away, Todd.
I appreciate it, Dr. Q. Thank you for being here on the show. And we look forward to seeing you again on Mental Health Monday.
All right. Thanks for having me. You guys have a great week.
Thanks, Dr. Q.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Lana, we got a few announcements to go through. It is Monday, but there's a lot going on this week. One event we have going on is our Global Energy Career Fair, and I believe that's tomorrow.
That is. So students who are seeking a career as an energy or manufacturing technician can attend the Global Energy COE Career Exploration Fair, and that is tomorrow, which is Tuesday, August 9th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Northeast Science and Technology Building. And we'll have registration information in our post after the show.
Okay, mental wellness support group. We can all use that. Coping skills. This month's HCC virtual mental wellness support group is open to all students 18 or older. It'll focus on coping skills and wellness. These groups provide safe spaces to gain mental health awareness and education. It's a WebEx event, 3:30 p.m. Wednesday, August the 10th. It's this Wednesday. Check our post to register for the event. We'll have the information posted after the show. And we've got a fall registration raffle coming up, Lana.
Yeah, it is that time of the year. For some folks, it might be a little anxiety preparing to get back to school, but with our registration open, HCC's registration fairs are a great opportunity to get personalized enrollment support at multiple campuses during the weekend. And those who attend will be entered for a chance to win a $500 scholarship and really cool giveaways. So that is Saturdays, August 13th and 20th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we'll have that link in our post after the show so folks can find out where they can go to registration fair.
I know you guys are gearing up for those. I mean, these are big events they have because it's right before the classes start. And usually those 2 weekends are big registration weekends. So it's kind of all hands on deck across the district. And I know it's the same at the Northwest College, right?
Absolutely. And what we're finding is that students really do want to have more face-to-face time with advisors and our enrollment folks. So this is a great opportunity to ask those questions, get the information you need immediately, and just come out and meet the folks that students will be dealing with during their career at HCC.
And if they come out during those dates, they don't have to call ahead and make an appointment. They can just show up and speak with financial aid, advisors, all that?
It is an open house. They are more than welcome to just walk right in. They can get advising, financial aid information. They can take a tour of the campuses that they're at. They can ask questions about career tracks. Whatever they need to make themselves successful in college, we'll be there to help them.
August the 13th and the 20th, we'll be mentioning that all this week. So make sure you get out to one of our campuses and register this coming weekend. Okay, subs and sandwiches are returning with Austin Commercial. HCC's Minority Business Development Agency will get together in person to target minority business enterprises. It's happening 11:30 to 1 p.m. Wednesday, August 17th. That's next Wednesday. You got some time. You can register for it. It's at the Houston MBDA Business Center. We'll have the information in our post after the show. Computer programming to career. You can sign up for one of those, Lana, and you can make some good money too.
You really can, and it's a hot career. It honestly, it's like I think you get your degree or your certificate, and you are employed. Period. So, with the fall semester just weeks away, it's a good time to consider a degree or a certification in computer programming, and students can sign up for a variety of options, including computer science, computer information systems, and cloud computing and app development. And we'll have a link in our post after the show as well, so students or potential students can get more information.
So we talked about registration. It is ongoing right now. We got the big events coming up on the 13th and the 20th across the district, but you can register anytime by going online and do so, or you can go to a campus, make an appointment ahead of time before those dates, go on in and just get started. 5 ways to learn: online anytime, online on a schedule. Those are both completely online. Hybrid labs, and then hybrid classes, a little bit of in-person and online, and then in-person classes. They are open, they're ready to go, and we're ready to sign you up for them. Go to hccs.edu/apply for all your registration needs. Tomorrow on the show, Natalia Norland is our HCC expert on interpreting and translating. She'll return to the show. And we've got a lot coming up later in the week, Lana. Yeah, we have Family Fun Day, where we welcome back the National Buffalo Soldier Museum, which is housed right here in Houston. So it's going to be a good week. It is. All right, Lana, I know you're excited for this upcoming week. Thank you for being here today, Lana. We look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I always have fun on the show. All right. Thanks, Lana. And thanks to all of you joining us. I'll be back tomorrow. We're live 10 a.m. right here every weekday with Up to the Minute.